What's good, everybody? Man, it's your boy Jay in the building. We're back again with another video. Now, before we get this video started, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Okay, I do want to speak about North Carolina Central today, and not just North Carolina Central. I want to talk about the quarterback that I got over there, Walker Harris. And my question for y'all is, do I believe that Walker Harris is going to be able to carry this North Carolina Central team to the Celebration Bowl? Now, I do know that South Carolina State is favored to win the MEAC. Now, if you're asking me who I think, I'm not going to be so quick to say South Carolina State. As a matter of fact, I might pick North Carolina Central to win the MEAC this year. And my main reason is Walker Harris. And I think that Walker Harris is going to be poised to have a big year. I don't see him throwing less than 2,500 yards this year. That's me personally. Especially since he really didn't do a lot of heavy. He didn't have to do a whole lot of heavy lifting last year. The bulk of the load was given to Amari Taylor. He carried the ball damn near 200 times a game, had over 1,100 yards rushing. Matter of fact, Harris only threw the ball a little over 200 times. He had two blowout wins in which he threw for less than 100 yards. Both blowout wins. He has a couple 200-yard games. He has one 300-yard game, but the majority of the season, as a matter of fact, he only has like 2 or 3 games in which he threw the ball over 30 times. So it was a lot of games last year in which he really didn't need to do a lot. And I think this year, the offense and how their play calling is going to go, that's going to be flipped around. I think they were only averaging like 170 yards passing a game, and I think that's gonna up it a little bit this year, especially with Walker being a senior this year and having the weapons that he have. He has Markel Quick coming back. He has Quincy Spice coming back, Chance Peterson coming back, Darrell Taylor coming back. Like, he has some weapons, and I think. Mosley? I think Mosley only had about 25, 30 carries last year. So with Chris Mosley getting the bulk of the carries this year, I can't wait to see what that looks like. But I think North Carolina Central, offensively, I think they're going to perform very well. I think they'll probably be one of the top offenses in the MEAC. I think me personally, I think they're the best put together team in the MEAC. But I think that all starts with the quarterback. And I know South Carolina State is a top 2 team in the MEAC heading into this year. And I'm giving them all the respect in the world because they did go undefeated in the MEAC last year. So I am going to give them respect for that. But y'all know Central is not only out for revenge, but you know Walker Harris is going to want to play better in that game as well, and listen, Walker Harris is not a high turnover guy anyway. Outside of the Elon game, in which he threw for 3 interceptions, he had a 6 or 7 game stretch in which he didn't commit a turnover. I think he thrown in interception in his last 3 games, but other than that, he's a pretty accurate thrower of the ball. And so I do think that the offense is going to rely on him a tad bit more this year because he does have a lot of weapons around him, and he has a real good offensive lineman crew. So I do like just them as an offense, as a team. I really do like North Carolina Central. And listen, I'm always going to go for a team that has that one dominant quarterback on its squad. I think Central got it. Um, I really don't know who else in the MEAC that already has their starting quarterback outside of Delaware State, possibly Norfolk State. But I am waiting to see who South Carolina State is going to start at QB. I do think that look like they have a ton of weapons themselves. I think South Carolina State is going to be a top 2 team in the MEAC. And that game versus with Central and South Carolina State, that game got moved to Friday. So I think that game could determine who is going to win the MEAC. But there is a team that I do want to talk about that is not those 2 teams. I'll get to that in another day's time. But for the most part, man, I do have North Carolina Central for the time being. I have North Carolina Central winning the MEAC, and I think that's going to be solely put on the hands of Walker Harris leading the way. You know, with him entering his final year, I think, like I said, man, I don't see him doing nothing less than 2,500 yards this year. You know, and they're starting off with Southern, in which they already they started off the year last year with playing against a SWAC opponent and beat them. So, but I think this Southern team tough, and we're going to talk about them later on in the week too, man. But listen, like I said, I like Walker Harris entering in his final year at North Carolina Central with the weapons he has around him. And I think the circumstances is going to be completely different because I think he's gonna do more of the heavy lifting this year. So I definitely take my chances, and I pick North Carolina Central to win the division this year for sure, or to win the MEAC this year. So we'll see what happens with that, man. But like I said, we're gonna speak more about North Carolina Central sometime next week whenever they get ready to play Southern. Whenever game we get here, that's when we're going to talk about it, man. But like I said, man, shout out to Walker Harris. Shout out to that whole crew on offense for Central. I think they're going to have a big year this year. I think they scored, 25 points a game last year. It might be a little more. Just probably 1 or 2 points more, but I do like Central this year, for sure.